the event today, and I do appreciate everyone showing up. And I'll be waiting for a few minutes for other people to jump on board. But I just want to say thank you. This is the first time, well, one of the first times that I'm doing a solo event with sponsors. So I'm used to having banter with other individuals. So this is going to be a bit of a new thing. Well, we have a great show for you today. And so, thank you again for everyone showing up. Now, while we're waiting for everyone else to show up, I would love to know where everyone is coming in from. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. If you want to go on the chat and chat it in, let me know and I'll take a look at that. And as people get in, they can just say hello. So it'd be great if you're online and you can just say hello, everyone. And that would be really awesome. All right. So when oh, awesome. It's coming in now. It's about a 20-second delay. Dr. Scott got Lisa there. Dr. Scott is from South Carolina, Florence, Philly. We got Dave from Philly. Awesome. Again, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been here for quite a bit. I lived all around the world, though. We have Kathy, and she's from Alabama. Awesome. So we getting people all across the East Coast. Not many West Coast for right now, but we usually get a few thousand replays, or is it replays? Yeah, replays after as well. So we have a great show for you. I'll go ahead and give you the agenda. And oh, hey there. So the agenda, what we're doing today, we have five different areas today, and we're trying to get through them quite quickly. The first is we want to talk about sponsors, some good people that you should really know. The second thing is we want to talk about the giveaways and the offer. We do have an offer, but it's like it's a what we call a, a super a super stupid great offer. And so I always believe in helping other individuals and making kind of no risk on their behalf. Oh, hey Thomas, how you doing? Yeah, you're in your basement. Here in Georgia as well. Maggie, she's in the middle of Iowa, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Is nowhere a real city? Or maybe you're saying is you're in somewhere in Iowa. Sherry, she's from Las Vegas, and oh, I see Thomas. They let you out because they unlocked the door. All right, and then and you have Kathy as well. All right, so to go through the agenda today, then we'll talk about those offers, and we'll also spend about 30 minutes on three categories. So most of my clients get between 2 times to 10 times the revenue back through correct bookings and conversions. And we want to figure out how to do that in three different ways. How to spend less time to generate the most impact. Understand how to create an omni channel. And what that means is um, most people, unless you have millions of followers, they do multiple methods, outreach and inbound and outbound in order to generate clients. And that strategy works really well because you don't, on the high value offers, you don't need huge amounts of people. You just need the right people running from the right channel. The other thing too is how to avoid tire kickers. I think that's 50% of what I had issues with and I resolved fairly recently. And I'd love to share that with you. Hey, Tom. Tom is from Texas. All right. All right. So I'll go ahead and turn this on here. And we want to talk about the sponsors. And we got this wrong. This is Craig Bruce. I thought I uploaded the right slides. This is not Troy Hippolito. This is Craig Bruce. He is actually one of my coaches. He's helped me with like morning routines, evening routines, how to lose weight, how to keep focused, how to have separation, and how to have boundaries. So he's a really great person to know. Lisa, if you can add his link to this, it would be linked to this. It would be really great. You can go ahead and look at his profile, and he even has a booking link in there. You know, he's helped. He's a life strategist and helped hundreds of executives. The second sponsor is Jeremy Bluebaugh, and he has a marketing company as well. But both of these are actually my clients, and I actually work with them. So Jeremy has a special system that he does research on your particular ideal client and or your existing client, and provides customized offerings, customized gifts, tangible gifts to those individuals that are quite unique. And so he gets about between a 40 and 50% reply rate. It costs quite a bit to do the research and send things out. But if you have a high value client you want to keep, or you want to research to get a reply back, he's a good person. Matter of fact, I have a customer testimonial from him that he went from 4,000, I think, to 40,000 in a few months with us consulting with each other. So I helped him quite a bit. And the other one is me. I used to be the not so boring LinkedIn guy, but I changed it because back in the day, I was the number one Swissipino game designer, and now I'm a LinkedIn guy for the last 5 years. So now I'm the top Swissipino LinkedIn guy, zero to hero. And Swissipino, if you don't know, I'll go ahead and break it down. My mother is from Switzerland. She has blonde hair and green eyes, and my dad is Filipino. He's like really Asian, and so I'm Swissipino. So that's my new pickup line at the bar there. So if you want to reach out to me, feel free. Lisa, go ahead and provide the links for Jeremy, and then provide the links for me. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next section right here. And we're going to talk briefly. And then if you have any questions, feel free, go ahead and chime in, and I will stop because I tend to talk quite a bit. But I want to talk about kind of giveaways and special offers that we have today. And that is, we have a day-to-day strategy guide, and I'll go ahead and show that to you real quick. And we also have a mastermind. So we have a 5K mastermind. We're selling for like $79. And someone has told me, tell them that you're providing value to the audience and that's why you're doing it. Well, that's half true. The other part is that I need to fill seats, I need to help people, and I need to provide testimonials. So we're doing this as a super discount to help other individuals, to help them to help us. Now, I'll go ahead and share the screen for the repeatable process, and we'll take a look at that real quick. And this right here is a document. So, Lisa, feel free to provide this, and I'm only going through it quite quickly. But one thing you can do, and we'll talk about it in more detail, is figure out what you can do on a day-to-day process to reduce your time and increase your conversions. And what's the most important thing? So your Monday could be different than your Tuesday. So if you have 30 minutes or an hour, it might be a good idea to download this document because there are videos associated with that. And we'll talk about this again a little bit later because I don't want to get into too much details, but there is a lot of different things you can do. So you pick and choose what's important to you in your business, and it gives you instructions how to do that. And a lot of those help you convert. All right, great. So also, if you have that document, Lisa, if you could provide that link to the document under that, feel free to download it. It's a Google document, and you can download it as a Word, and then go through that and select what's important to you. Also, Lisa. Lisa's my assistant, by the way. I'm not just calling everyone Lisa. If you can provide my booking link. So if you need help to figure out what your daily process should be based on your business, feel free to grab 20 or 30 minutes, say 20 minutes, and I can walk you through what should ideally be important for you. Because a lot of times, if we have a process and we work on that process per day, we get better conversions. Of course, you have to kind of include your A/B testing and all the other stuff. The other thing is our mastermind. And want to talk about that quite briefly, and we'll get back to it. I have simplified a lot of stuff, and I did it for my business, and I did it for my sanity. And I don't want to be helping everyone. And so I had a ton of tire kickers, and we'll get into how to reduce that today as one of the major areas. So I simplified, and I said, you know what? How can I create the most impact for these people and not complicate my life? So I only have two offers. Unless you're a current client, I only have two offers. And one is a mastermind is group coaching, and the other is done for you. So we create a client acquisition model for you. So it's either I teach you or I do it for you. And so it keeps it really simple. And the I teach you part is the client acquisition mastermind, is what we're calling it. And it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 45 minutes. And instead of 5K, we're offering it for $79. If you can, feel free to go ahead and add that link to that offer over there. It's $79. And if you don't like it, if you attend all the sessions and you don't like it, I just give your money back. But you'll surely get a lot of impact on things like, how do I fix my profile? How do I target the right individuals? What do I say? How do I vet my proper clients? How do I close the deals? How do I present my premier offer, in a way that's super clear? So I don't want to get too detailed into all that stuff, but it's something we're doing now simply to fill seats and to help other individuals. And the third thing is we're getting testimonials from it. So feel free to join that. It's going to be the most impactful, cost effective thing you can do. Now, let's get into kind of the nitty gritty and the reason why that you're here. What you want to do is, how can I increase my sales, my communication, help my business? And I picked three areas to start with. And these three areas are actually chapters or portions of our mastermind. And so we're taking a lot of this information directly from that. And there's just three little areas. The first is, how do I generate, the most impact with the least amount of time? So what can I do the least amount of work and create the most impact? The second part is understanding how to create an omni-channel. It's the idea of an omni-channel, what it means, how I could generally set it up, how I can set it up and actually go to sleep and to generate leads in my sleep. The third is was really important to me, is how to avoid tire kickers. So everybody and their mama needs help, but not everyone is going to pay for it. And so you want to help individuals, but you don't want to be consumed. Previously, I was getting literally 50 meetings a week. And that's no exaggeration. And I want to reduce that down to about 15. I don't want 50 meetings a week because I have a business to run. And so if you are too available, they'll book you all day long and burn your time. And so you're here to build relationships. You're here to help individuals, and you're here to actually do business. And so doing business is not a bad word. It's what we're here on LinkedIn for, as far as networking, building those relationships. As long as it's not transactional and what you're doing is actually providing help. And so we broke those three sections down into 9 different tips here. So I'll go through this here. And again, for the audience, please ask any questions you like. As soon as I see it pop up, I'll go ahead and pause and try to answer your question. And we also have FAQs at the end. Oh, thanks, Mark. He says he wants to support my success. Awesome. Thank you. So the first thing is, how do I spend less time and generate the most impact? Well, there's a couple of things. The most valuable thing that I've seen on LinkedIn, on and off LinkedIn, whether it's a tangible item, it's a direct message, it's some kind of communication through email, or it's a post, is how do you personalize it? How do you add your own personality in it? How do you add your own originality in it? And there's a couple of things that you can do, and they're very tactical. So first is how to send a personalized video or voice memo. I've touted this quite often, and It's pretty powerful. So let me show you on the screen here. So this is my phone here, and on my phone, I have the LinkedIn app. And what I do when I connect with other individuals, I'll either have my assistant send a video through our video sending system, a native video, or I'll do it myself and I'll add the tripod. And so I really pick the people who I want to engage with more, because if I get a lot of connections, I may not get to all of them. And then I have my backup, which is my assistant sending the particular baked videos on that. And the important thing is having that video set up in a way where it plays within the LinkedIn environment or does not require extra clicks to do it. So what a lot of people will do is have a Loom video or link, and then what LinkedIn does on your DM when you do a welcome message, and a welcome message is thank you for connecting. What happens is it has a pop up. LinkedIn has a pop up saying, "Are you sure you want to leave?" And that's where you have all the drops happen. So it's a very high drop rate. It's not a good thing to do because they just connected with you and you sent them a link and they click on the link and they ask, there's another link. They're not going to view that kind of video. The only thing they'll do one click to see the video. And so the LinkedIn mobile app and our particular system, we have our own system that does the same thing. Um, Once you send that video, they can see it within. And so my conversion rate for videos is about 20%. So for every 10 connections that go through, I'm able to book one meeting. Now, for complete transparency, you have to have your ducks in a row. So my profile is on point, and I'll talk about that. My targeting is on point, and we can talk about that. And when we connect, the video is on point. My video is very specific to that target market, and it's not selling. So a lot of people have a hard time to differentiate between providing value and spam. A lot of people just don't know the difference. And when you want to provide value, you have to think about, where am I at in the relationship? So if I just connected with you, what's reasonable welcome message to send? Well, when I do a video or even a voice memo, you can do a voice memo if you're not a video person. That's another option in there. You want to just thank them for connecting. So I address them as a person. I thank them for connecting. I talk about them, and I tell them, I do have a great network. I'm always open for networking, but I'm not entirely sure if there's anything that we can do together. But you know what, Tim, or whoever the person you're talking to, if you have a moment, just take a look at my LinkedIn profile. And if you see any dots to connect, feel free to send me your booking link and I'll schedule some time with you. I'm always open for a conversation. Thank you very much. Hopefully, talk soon and have a great day. And it's literally about 35 seconds. And in 35 seconds, your relationship is equal to the ask. So I'm asking him to see if it's all right, if he has a moment to take a look at my profile. Well, if you just connected with someone and you ask, that's pretty appropriate. And if they look at your profile and they see nothing, no reason to have a conversation with you, they will not book anything with you. And you also notice that I didn't say I'm sending you my booking link. I said send me yours and I'll book on your link. And if they don't have a link, they'll ask for mine, of course, or they'll find it on my profile and book automatically. And so I get literally a 20% conversion rate on those personalized videos straight from a connection. And so that's one way you can personalize. And when you personalize, you spend a little bit of time on that, and you get a huge impact, especially if your other ducks are in a row. I got a couple of things. You're assuming that they have a booking link. Ah, Great thing, David. I am. And if they don't, they'll correct me. So I'm not trying to fill in every little gap. There are some assumptions, but a lot of people don't have booking links, and they'll just say, "Well, I don't have a booking." They'll tell you if they want to meet with you, I don't have a booking link, but I found it on your profile. And if they don't, you just send them yours. But you allow them to come back because if you provide too much information in that short conversation, it gets confusing. So humans generally can only take in one bit of information, one concept at a time, and you want to keep it simple. And so assumptions are okay in certain instances, and it's most professionals do have it, and the ones that don't are working their way up to tighten their game. And so once they see you have a booking link, it gets them to think they need one as well. So great question, David. Um, Let me see here. Awesome. So I'll go ahead and continue. Another idea is like, well, how can I send material that's customized? We talked about customized videos for welcome messages. We talked about voice memo, which is another option on your LinkedIn app. Pretty powerful. You can also write a book, and I don't have the link, but I believe Robert Jones is a really good person, and I'll put the link later on. You can be an Amazon best-selling author by writing a single page. I think it costs 250 bucks. And if you're into writing and you want to be guaranteed best author, that's another avenue of getting content out there. A third is I'm in a magazine, and the magazine is actually my magazine, and they have services where they build magazines for you and mail them out. So those are tangible items. So those are some of the things that you can do. Now, other things is figuring out that day-to-day process. Well, I mean, do I check my messages at this time? When do I check it? How many times do I do that? Do I do pre engagement? So, pre engagement is another method to personalize interaction. So pre-engagement is engaging with your post, but more so other people's posts. So say you want to get to know this individual because he's an ideal prospect, he's an ideal client, he's an ideal partner maybe, and he may have a network of people that if they didn't fit with this individual, it may fit with your service. Well, you engage in these posts before you connect. So if you engage with that individual's post and they reply, that's quite a few touch points. Think about it. This individual created a post, you're engaging. You looked at it, you liked it, you replied to it, they replied back, you know. And then maybe you engage with someone else's comment or whatever. They're like 4 or 5 touch points. Well, if you do that twice, that's 10 touch points. And I don't know how many touch points until a sell or a call because our attention span keeps reducing. But what touch points don't mean is to hit them up all on a single platform. So when I say platform, I'm not referring to LinkedIn by itself, but maybe the different parts of LinkedIn plus other platforms for like post DMs, groups, you name it. Those are kind of the different areas. And if you did that twice, you have 10 touch points. Then you can actually send a manual invite. And the invite can go along the lines of I appreciate both your posts or the post about A, B, and C. Love to continue the conversation. Or if you think it's worth connecting, feel free. Your connection rate from your 15 to 30% average has all the way moved up to 85%. On top of that, you have also moved the relationship down the line. Ah, David has something else there. Almost everyone connects on LinkedIn using text. So using audio video is a great way to stand out. Yes, that's absolutely true. You want to stand out. Say there is a modeling agency and they're a bunch of blondes. Well, I want to be the brunette. I want the one that stands out. And you have people that don't view messages. view videos, and but they're the minority. I think 90% of the people are more engaged in videos, and about 10% only read. And so the odds are in your favor. And then you have a percentage of people just don't look at LinkedIn messages. Now, that brings up an interesting point. If you are not, if you connect with someone and just don't respond on LinkedIn, well, maybe they just don't use the messenger. So what do? You create an omnipresence. You engage with them on a post, you connect it with them, and you send them a video and they don't see it. Well, you can roll to an email, so you move that conversation off LinkedIn into a platform that they're more likely to reply. And on LinkedIn, you don't want to stack too many messages. You want to have one video and then one follow up and cut it off. On email, however, you tend to want to put 3 emails, because people don't even see the email to the third one. And so that's kind of a rule right there. Um, let's see. Do I use a particular sequence? Well, I have my own sequence I can talk about quite briefly. Um, I have a system that I connect with, a system called Link CRM, and it helps me use my targets more efficiently. I connect with them and I do a personalized video. So I usually engage with post. I'll send a connection invite maybe the next week. I'll send a personalized video or a video through my assistant that I design specific for that target market, and I'll do one follow up. I don't even do the email portion, because I'm getting plenty of meetings. But I could roll over to email, so I can use something like Zapier. Oh, this is my daughter. She's out of school today. You want to say hi to everyone? Okay. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Lots of paper.
You want to get some paper?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have fun. She does lots of crafts and stuff. But to answer your question, yeah, I could roll over the email for a couple of outreaches as well. And if I wanted to personalize a communication with them, um, and they were a client, I may send them one of my magazines, and it's actually a print magazine. And so you have all these different touch points that happen on these different type of platforms. So one thing is communicating through the post. One thing is a direct message. One way is an email. Another way is an actually mailing. You can mail things like your magazine. You can create something on Canva and you can mail it out. Personalized cards do pretty well as well. So, and these are those 3 areas that we just talked about: personalized video or voice memo. They work on email as well as LinkedIn. Engaging with posts. And when I say engage with a post, you know what I dislike? I dislike those messages that come in like, "Hey, if I comment on your post, can you comment on mine?" I said, "Sure. Let me look at it." And I put a thoughtful comment on it, and they just click a like, say, "Very interesting." LinkedIn doesn't even count your comment unless you have at least 7 words on it. And so you want to spend time to engage with people a little more and have a thoughtful comment on it, because those are the things that people remember. Those are the things that people respond to, you know. And so I replied back to him on a DM. So I would not, post that on it. He goes, "Well, I really don't understand what you're doing," because he's too lazy to like look at the video or whatever, right? So those are kind of the wrong people that you want. You want people that are genuinely engaging with you, and you want to engage with them, because at the end of the day, people that work with you, they're gonna know, like, and trust you. And 80% of the business decisions are based upon those things, how they feel. It's not really tangible truth type items, but if they feel as if, okay, he's my kind of person, we have commonalities, then I want to work with that person. Oh, and again, this whole set of slides will be posted tomorrow. So anyone who comments on this or has engaged on this on the show here, we'll send a link to the post. It has all the slides you can download later. So personalization is key. Another thing is a lot of you entrepreneurs are killing yourselves because you're trying to be everything. I was one of those individuals. My past, I have an IT background. I did 3D animation. I was a programmer. I was a software architect, a business owner. I did a lot of things, and I was really good at a lot of them. But no one respects that. You end up looking like a flea market. So you don't want to come out as a jack of all trades. What you do want to do is come out as that expert, you know. And then when you become that expert, you have to figure out, um, uh, you have to go and figure out how can I do more work with less. So having an assistant is a big deal. It will take off some of those jobs away from you so you can concentrate on your own business. And people say, well, most VAs suck. Well, most people suck, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm just being plain Jane. There are good services as well as as well as good individuals, as well as good VAs out there, as well as bad. So the big determining factor on the virtual assistants are, are they trainable? And it's the same rule for the clients. I don't pick up a client unless I feel that they're trainable, they can learn something, and they can kind of proceed in those things. So one way to train an assistant is to create uh, what they call it, an SOP, a service operating procedure, basically a training manual. And so any of those tasks that you do, you document, because you have a lot of that knowledge in your mind and it has to be converted to an actual document, so you can reduce that so you're not looking over people's shoulders. So if you design an SOP, you can have the general instructions, you can create a Loom video, put the image there and say these things have to be done, because a good portion of your business is a process that can be repeated. And you reduce those things, you just have more time on the more important things. So the first thing is create your systems and processes and document. Another thing too is you may teach them on SOP on a certain procedure, but then you may have a whole system. So I have a number of systems. I have for my link to sell accelerator, my done for you, for my premium clients that don't want to engage. They want bookings. They want vetted bookings, and they need to figure out what they need to figure out how to get that. And usually, it's like, how do I separate this client from every other client? What is their ideal? What is their ideal offer or their initial main offer? For example, I recently talked to an IT company, which is a client, and I said, look, people see your profile, it's very professional, but they really don't know how you're different than anyone else, and they don't really see an advantage. And so the first thing I said, let me see your portfolio, what clients you work with and how you solve those issues. And I said, what's your technology stack? And so this individual has a great history of Fortune type of clients in the IT industry. And he has a great technology stack. I can put that together. I said, how confident are you with your services? Okay, if someone doesn't know you and they know that you work for A, B, and C and this type of technology and these type of clients, what would entice them for immediate conversation? Well, my idea was to give them a crazy stupid offer similar to what I'm doing here today. If you can't pay $79 for a seat and guaranteed to get your money back if you're not happy, you're probably this is probably not your thing. You're probably not trying to build a client acquisition system. You're probably not trying to bring clients in. Or you just need a done for you service, which is my other thing. So you really have to think about that the systems and processes in order to make that offer. And so I told that individual, I said, hey, how about a one resource pack? And of course I just made it up. It's nothing actually. I said, okay, so you have these products, you have this history of work, you have this technology set up, so offer them one resource, and if they don't like it in 30 days, they don't even need to pay for it. low bar entry. There's very little negative side to the client and very upside to them, for them as well. And you're creating an offer that they really, can't refuse unless they just don't care. If they don't care, then you want to move on to the next client. The second thing is creating a daily process. Oh, I'm sorry, a couple of things here. Appreciate the link to the slides. Yep, I'll send those slides tomorrow. David says, when you send a personalized card, do you mean a greeting card or handwritten note or something else? David, all the above. I have terrible handwriting. So I have doctor's handwriting. So I remember this young lady says, yeah, you shouldn't write anything. You have handwriting like a killer. And I was just like, what? Like my handwriting's terrible. So if you have great handwriting, a handwritten note is awesome. If you don't, you can go to a number of different places and run a Google search on one-off cards. And I also think Canva, the ones that you can create designs, you can create a design and design and print it off and send it off as well. And so it could be either of those. I even have a cool little thing on my IT company. We still do IT projects. I just don't really advertise it. I designed this box years ago, and this is something I give my premier clients. And it looks like a little old school software box, but you open it up, it's a mini team in action. And so we created this, and we have a little video player there, and it's actually real Legos. And we tell them this is a 100 scale replica of my team in action, and it has a card holder and everything. So the sky's the limit on what you can do. It really depends on what's feasible. Like something like this, these are very expensive. They probably run about $150 a pop, and they're hand done. So it's whatever. But that's kind of more of an extreme case. But something like this, they'll keep on their desk. They'll never throw it away. And so you really have to think about how do some things add a special moment and they add longevity. Of course, creating 2 times a week check-ins and stuff like that. Um, there's a um, that's when you're training your assistant. And that's internal stuff. And so if you have a job happening and you have a team handling it, there's different ways to manage that. But I always think the minimum is 2 check-ins. You can have a daily scrum as well if it's a very technical thing to do. But with assistants and tasks, you got to figure out these tasks are happening. How are they happening? Are they converting over? You don't want to micromanage in that respect. You need to have those 2 meetings to figure out if the gears are working well and everything's well oiled. I got another question here. Maggie says yes. I'm trying to figure out to what. Let me see here. Oh, Maggie, yeah, you're asking a question on comments. Well, LinkedIn constantly changes their algorithm on how they view value in a post. And part of it is their algorithm, part of it is the humans, the gatekeepers. And so typically, if you get, say, 15 original comments and then 15 original likes, it brings you in that first major section where the gatekeepers see that. And they'll say, oh, we're going to spread it out to a lot more people and be more viral, right? But some of the things they look at also is the type of engagement. And someone says, hey, interesting, versus having 10 or over 7 words on the information. Um, I have no idea what my daughter's doing. She just does stuff. I don't know. But anyway, she's always making stuff. She made a robot yesterday. She was like a whole robot yesterday, and I was like, okay, cool. So you never know what she's in the middle of doing. So the more thoughtful the comment, the more engagement you get. So it's not a robot. Another thing that LinkedIn really looks for is if something was created and it looks like it's done by Chat GPT or something. So the default for some of those things look pretty obvious and they're able to tell. And so if your comments seem fake, is not going to really generate a lot of movement. David, I heard it said that you shouldn't expect one VA to be good at everything. That's true. You should not. Matter of fact, my assistant is Lisa, and she's really good. And I said that she's at 70% as good as I am on certain things, and she got mad. Well, not mad, but she got annoyed. But I had to tell her, which is normal. I had to tell her, I said 70% is a lot. I have years of experience. And so if you are 50% as good as I am on that individual task, that's a keeper. So you have to kind of weigh it out of what's important and what's not. Um, and then you have different support. When I say VA, I'm just talking about external support. It could be a writer, it could be the video editor. Virtual assistant's just one of those elements, but all those things come in play. um, Yes. So you do want to create your SOP, your service operating procedure slash training manual, based on the individual task. And certain tasks are better designed than others. For example, I have another system that does technical stuff, but I'll never have that person reply. I'll have one person reply on my DMs, and they'll reply as the assistant, and I'm okay with that because you need to know that this assistant that replying for me is smart, but so are my prospects. So we're not here to trick them. We're just saying, well, this is so and so. I'm working with Troy, or I'm the assistant of Troy. That's a great question about this. This is the answer, but it may make better sense to grab some time on his calendar. And so you want to be professional in that flow. Um, Bentley Ham. They call that engagement quality. I like that word, engagement quality. I didn't use that word, but it's a low word count indicates the post is not stimulating quality. There you go. That's really good stuff there. You know. So hopefully that answers some of your questions there. I'll go ahead and slide through these right here. So we have to remember that if we're building relationships, ultimately we want some kind of conversion. Sometimes that relationship, sometimes that's sales. So 80% of all the decisions on sales is really based if they like you. And that sounds weird, right? Because I used to be able to personally work with people I don't like. I really didn't have many feelings. Then I realized, yeah, this person is taxing me too much. So if I like them, there's a lot of inner energy or reasons why maybe they pass a litmus test. For example, why would they like you? Well, they may have some common ground. I'm a single father. I've been in the IT industry. I've been in the marketing industry. I've been in the army. I've created really cool apps. I've helped a lot of people. So in there may be commonalities where say, oh, I can relate to that individual, and I can understand where their pain is. And my goals is not to sell. My goal is to ease their pain. And that's a big difference because if your goal is to sell, you'll come off spammy. If your goal is to solve a pain, they'll naturally come to you for the conversions. Um, Another thing too, you have to have clear objectives to the meeting. So at the beginning of the show, I laid out the of what we're doing and what we're not doing. So if you're organized and you're on step, people see that and they respect that and they move you up on a level, and it's very clear on what you want to talk about. So when you have a booking or whatever, you want clear objectives on there. Another thing too is again, how am I overcoming their objectives? And someone says, well, the solution. The truth is really the pain. Like, what would your life look like without this? you know and then how can I create a no-brainer offer? So sometimes if I'm trying to make quota and I look at this and I say this person is a great fit for, I don't know, my done for you service program, and I want to get them on board because I know that this person will convert well, even if I'm not making money right away. And so usually it may be a startup fee, so a setup fee, excuse me. So the first 3 weeks they have to pay X amount of thousands of dollars or whatever. There's been occasions where I waived it and I say, just pay for my hard cost for my assistant and the law software licensing and everything else I'll do for free to set you up. And if in and so instead of 3,500 bucks, they pay $500. Well, if they can't commit to that, they just not might not be a good client, you know. And you can get down and dirty real quick. You can make a no-brainer offer to that client, and then you can show those results. So you lessen not only lessen the pain, but you lessen the risk of that type of client. Maggie's got some questions. I started my business as a virtual assistant. Hot VA tip. Unless your VA is working on you full time, always give them a due date on time scale when you want the work to be done. Oh yeah, and that has to do with the meetings twice a week. You need I have with my assistants a day-to-day task. They have a week task and then they break it down to day to day and then they tighten it up per week. And that way you kind of know what's happening. Let's see. Uh, don't secretly hope for it to be done. Yeah, yeah. Hoping's for suckers. You have to take action and make sure things are happening with all your vendors. And if they're not making deadline, you got to figure out why and solve the problem. So the powerful thing about being the owner of the company is you have the ability to hire and you have the ability to fire. You know, when you're working in corporate, it's much more difficult if you're a project manager because they don't really adhere to a lot of those, a lot of those strict deadlines. Although you try to push it, you really don't have much power on some of those areas. Yep, and set clear expectations. That's absolutely right, Maggie. So the other thing is creating an omni channel. So you want to generate inbound as well as outbound. And there's a number of different ways to do that. And it's about setting up all your dominoes in a row. And so here's a couple of things, just 3 bullet points, and I won't get too much into it, but you want to use automation for good, not for evil. It sounds kind of weird, right? So let's say it again. You want to use your automation for good and not evil. Some people say don't use any automation and this and that. Well, you can, yeah, you will end up using some, but you only need it for certain bits, and other bits you want to take over. For example, if you're targeting individuals in a certain segment of your sales navigator, that's the type of automation. So you have a list to go out to. What you don't want to do is you don't want to spam them. So um, don't confuse value with spamming. So some people say, I want to sell my stuff. I think that's valuable. It's not valuable, it's spam. So, how many people have gotten, put a one in the chat if you've gotten a message from someone you didn't know and they bulleted point their features of their business or their service? And usually IT services out of country do a lot of that. It's horrible. So I get those every single day that I can help you do a nap. I can help you on LinkedIn. They don't even look at my LinkedIn profile. It's awful. So I always come from a place of service. How can I come of value to that person? And so you use your automation in certain arenas to enhance that. So another thing I don't do on LinkedIn is I don't do a lot of sequences. Sequences are dead on LinkedIn. So when they automate sequences and have 6 messages after each other, it's awful. Oh, you got some ones here. I'm sorry. I think we're on a 20-second delay on this thing. So Doug gave me one. Bentley gave me one. David, yeah. This LinkedIn user on another channel gave me one. And Maggie, yes, all of you. Yes, it happens quite often. And it's very depressing. One thing I do when I get those messages, I have an auto reply. I push a button, I can reply, and it's a spammy message. And I put it in there to give them a little clue. And there might be a small chance I can convert them into a client. If not, I've done my good and I can move on. The second bullet point, new move touch points to the proper place and proper time. I just said to the proper time. And so I mentioned previously, you don't want, oh, you need 20 touch points before you have a meeting. I'm going to email them 20 times or I'm going to send them a DM 20 times. No, it's touch points over time. So remember, I engaged with two of this individual posts. That was 10 touch points. I connected with them. I sent a connection request. They accepted. That's 12. I send a welcome video. It's 13. I did one follow up, 14. And this is over a course of time. Never hear back from them. 2 weeks later, I sent them a series of emails, 3, right? Over a course of time. Not 3 right away, so we're talking about that's already 17 touch points. Well, they already know you. A lot of times they just need to see the message. And if you open up the time period, say you engage with them over several months, you don't know when they actually need your service. So you're actually doing yourself a service when you have different ways to reach out to them. I may send them again a magazine or a copy of my book. I have it right here actually. So this is a book I was in, and it's an Amazon bestseller. There's all sorts of things that you can do. You just need to kind of set it up properly and get a service to do it or get yourself to do it. Even content is a huge thing. We do a lot of content for clients as well, but we specialize in things like, let's create carousels. They get a lot of engagement. Let's create polls. Let's edit some video. Let's do a few posts and then let's engage with those to increase the conversions. Again, think about how to provide value with a conversation, maybe, and this is a flow here, to a post, proper connection invite, personalized video, follow-up DM, email, mail, LinkedIn newsletter. Oh, I got a new LinkedIn newsletter too. Got like 3,500 people on that. Maybe you got an email list. Another thing too is this show here is another way of I increase my email list. So the people who book with me, I have a link on there that says, is it okay that I email you? And I ask them permission. People who engage on this event here, I add that to my email list. And I always send them, excuse me, I always send them an email saying, are you sure it's okay? And then you can build your email list normally. So having an email list and LinkedIn newsletter, they're two different things, are also great paths to, as part of your system there. Yeah, some sequences are ridiculous. Oh, you had 20. David says they have 20 messages saying, this is my last message. So, like, oh no, I should jump on it. People are a lot smarter than they used to be. So trying to trick them, it doesn't work. Psychology works, but trying to trick them does not work. So there's a difference between insulting someone's intelligence and using just basic psychology to do things. For example, if I'm helping someone, they're more likely to talk to me. That's psychology. If you can solve a pain, or if they can realize if they don't have this thing fixed, it will cause more pain. To avoid pain, that's psychology. So those are the things that you want to do. You want to provide actual value to the individual. Now, the third area is how to avoid tire kickers. And that's one thing I saw fairly recently. And I mentioned before, I was getting literally 50 meetings a week. And so what I did is I looked at my profile and I say, I'm too damn helpful. I can't do these meetings. So on my LinkedIn profile, if you take a look at it, Lisa, go ahead and provide my LinkedIn profile in there. Link. If you look at the banner, it says, I deal with this person, and this person at this dollar range. So I do 150K to 5 million, right? So that already wards off like 50% of my tire kickers already, because all the people that want just free stuff. I also have your high ticket offer clearly, and I mentioned that before. I have two offers: my mastermind, which I'm actually pushing on the show, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's a great value and it helps people get where they want to go. And I spend about 10 hours a week on it, so I'm not really making money on it. I'm building a platform where it will make money at some point and help others right away. And the other one is my done for you service, my link to sell accelerator system. So I either teach you how to do it or I do it for you. My team and I do it for you through an omnipresence type of approach. Um, and then with your meeting links as well, let's clarify it. The same context as your profile, put on your meeting links. Put I deal with this type of person. Have the different links be very clear on what it is and what it's not. The worst thing you want to do is get on a sales call and it not be a sales call, and having clear expectations and things like that are things that kind of reduce that sales cycle. Um, oh, it says it right here: clear objectives, 3 to 5 disqualifying qualifying questions. So in your booking link, you want to have those 3 to 5 questions. One of for me is how much is your budget, and I put it in there to make them think, do I really want a meeting? Even a meet and greet. And I'm like that. I don't think everyone's like that. I am like that because I get too many meetings. I'm here to help, but I'm also here to actually do business. Well, oh, hey Melissa, how you doing? Thank you, blessings. So if you want, check out my website, but I offer you to, definitely take a look at, take a deeper look at my profile. And this is what I'm going to end with here. And this is the Q&A section. So I have to actually jump in about 5 minutes. So I have about 5 minutes left. But this is my no-brainer offer. $79. So I know you're not, jerking my chain. It holds a seat. I got a little fly here. It holds a seat. You attend the sessions for that month. If you don't like it, I just give your money back. After that, we have it's 249 a month. You can cancel anytime. But usually the concept is functional in 30 days, profitable in 90 days. We touch on everything from how to use Sales Navigator, how do I fix my profile, how do I create my premier offer, how do I communicate, how do I fix my booking links, how do I get bookings, how do I have a response document, how do I train my VA and create an SOP, how do I roll from LinkedIn a post to a DM to an email? What should my flow and system be? And what are those messages? And so it's about all these systems. It's the nuts and bolts of it. So feel free to join. Thanks, Lisa, for sending that link there. So that is the end of my presentation. What I would like for anyone on the next few minutes, feel free to post any questions that you have there. If not, I'm gonna say have a blessed day. Thank you. And this is actually the first time I did the show kind of on my own. I think next month when we rerun the show, I'll have or rerun a similar show. I'll have a guest speaker because I like the banter. I'll be working off other people's energy. So feel free if you have any questions. And I know we have a 20-second delay here. And also, if you liked the day-to-day process document, that's free. You can download it. You can check out the videos. And if there's anything on there that you have questions on, feel free to grab 20 minutes. I will help you. Um, well, asking budget may not be the best time, especially at the wrong time. Um, it really depends. I think that if you want a business meeting and you get offended because they want to make sure that you have a budget before they work on it, I don't see a problem with that. I think that people are sometimes too cautious. People appreciate people that are a little, and the business end, they appreciate people and experts that are very specific and direct. And you disqualifying someone that has no budget is actually a good thing. Um, yeah, in some cases, if you have a value proposition is good enough, it really depends on what you have for your for offer. So if you have something that's like $4 or $5,000 a month, you kind of want to know their budget because they may be thinking $20 a month, or like now we have a low cost, the mastermind, and that's an exception. But a lot of times people don't know the value and they'll waste your time. And you want to kind of reduce that waste of time. Reduce the time for closing to building that relationship, all those things. So I have a method. So when we try to close deals, we'll talk to them. We'll have a 20 or 30-minute conversation. I'll solve their problem. I will allow them to ask me specifics on the system. And if I can close a deal on that first 30 minutes, I will. But more than likely, at least half the time, it goes to another meeting. It goes to an actual business meeting. So it gives them time to think about it. Or they already thought about it and they just jump around the meeting to close the deal. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely, David, needed to disqualify. Well, awesome. I think we're over time right now. I do appreciate all the comments and feel free to reach out to me anytime. This set of slides with the correct name, I don't know. I updated this thing and I must have grabbed the wrong stuff. So Craig, sorry about that. I put my name on the Craig's, but the correct set of slides will be in a post tomorrow morning. We'll shoot it out at 7 a.m. East Coast time, and then we'll send messages to everyone who chatted and registered for the event. All right. So I'll let everyone go. Thank you very much. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you want to help sponsor, if you're interested in the Now Society's client acquisition mastermind, or if you just need help on LinkedIn in general to get more bookings. I'm always here for you. Thank you. Have a great day.